You might have heard that live shopping is exploding. And I have to tell you, I have been on Whatnot for a couple of weeks now, and I see why it is. Now, Whatnot is my sponsor, and they are the reason I got on the platform and checked it out. I'm glad they did. They made it easy for me. I'm going to make it easy for you. I love it. Whatnot is where you get great products without paying full price. It's that simple. I'm hooked on their live shows, too. You got to see them. They're so much fun. And I see why Whatnot has climbed to the top of the App Store. And listen, if you're selling online, or maybe you have a storefront and you're hoping people will find your listing or maybe walk in your store, Whatnot flips that, because on Whatnot, you go live and you sell directly to people in real time. And I may admit, although you didn't hear from me, I may have picked up a couple of power tools or so in the past couple of days. I'm just saying. Whatnot, it's the largest dedicated live shopping platform with beauty, collectibles, electronics, luxury, fashion, even cookies, and anyone can sell. In fact, people who sell on Whatnot sell 10 times as much as any other major marketplace. That's because you're not just listing products, you're building real connections with buyers. So whether you're shopping or you're selling, download the Whatnot app today and get free shipping on your first order. Just search WHATNOT, Whatnot, in the App Store and start scoring amazing deals. So I was whining to my wife the other day, said, I need new glasses. And she said, well, get some. I couldn't tighten them anymore. They were scratched. You know the thing, right? But I didn't want to go through the process because you have to make the appointment. You have to spend weeks to get them done. And you got to pay a fortune, right? That's real. But I did. I spent $500 on frames and glasses, and that was cheap. And then I ordered a pair from my sponsor, Zenni Optical, for $70. Zenni is an online eyewear shop, prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30. You go to Zenni.com, you pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. And by the way, if you are saying, do I really need new glasses, or do I have to put up with one pair to do everything I need to do for the next 2 years? No, you can get what you want starting at under $30. And if you've never bought glasses online, don't worry about it. I haven't either. Zenni has a virtual try-on so you can see exactly how the frame looks before you commit to buying them, with no salesman looking at you saying, those look good, but these expensive ones would look better. No, you don't get that. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my Zenni glasses and tell you more about them. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now's the time. Go to Zenni.com/podcast and use the code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's Zenni.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15. Happy Friday. Is it Friday again already? My goodness. Just got through Super Bowl, then Valentine's Day rolled, and this week, about 5 miles to my north, I can hear them today. Daytona 500 kicks off. When the wind blows our direction, we can hear the whole race, and usually we don't, but I think maybe this year we might hear the whole race. We'll see. We're going to talk about action today, taking action. It's that thing. It's a secret to everything, and the one that we all know how to do, and we all do it anyway. And yet, it seems to be, basically the question is, why can't I take the action I need that I want to take for myself? We'll chat about that today, see if that helps on a Friday, get you in the weekend, maybe you can do something with it. It is a daily boost from motivationtomove.com, the positive issued every single day. By the way, I did mention yesterday about my Facebook page and some controversy going on over there at dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook. Pretty much the only place you can talk to me on social media is there. I don't do it anywhere else because I kind of like the privacy of the group, but it doesn't mean we don't have some fun with it. But somebody said something, they were talking about one of the ads that was running on the shows that we have. And I'm not sure if it's the content of the ad or it was the fact that they don't like ads. I'm not sure. But in either case, it doesn't really matter. It is what it is. And man, it set off a firestorm. People just, all kinds of comments all over the place. And I just kind of had fun with it. And I went through and I think I probably responded to 40 people. And just kind of, and somebody came back and said, hey, Scott, it's a shame you're having to do damage control. I said, damage control? This is part of the conversation. So if you like that, nothing major, nothing bad, but if you like a place where you can communicate with some cool people and you know that I'm going to take it straight up and head on with you, just go to dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook. All right, enough of that stuff. How are you? It's me, Scott Smith, did I say? Chief Motivating Officer here at motivationtomove.com. Sometimes I get in the flow of consciousness here and I forget to even let you know that I am who I am. But there you go. Every single Friday, this is a question I've asked myself for 20 plus years now. And it came down to the fact that sometimes I would do things throughout the course of the day and people would make me feel bad. They'd hurt my feelings. Or I'd get upset the way a boss said to do something or the way a client said something or whatever. I just get upset. Why does it have to be this way? And I just recognized it wasn't doing me any good. And that's kind of what this show is all about. Everything I do. I don't talk about anything that I made up or take from anybody else. I do it if I talk about it. You can count on that. And I just noticed a long time ago that, you know what? I need a way for me to feel good no matter what happens. So I started asking that question. I said, how do I want to feel? How about this? How do I want to feel about them, her, he, that? How do I want to feel? Understanding that I'm an emotional guy. So are you. You're an emotional being, right? Your emotions first. And that I had the power to control my emotions, moderate my emotions, and that gives you the power over almost everybody in the world if you can control your emotions. I can, except when there's like something really shiny and expensive in front of me, then my emotions take control of my wallet, but mostly I can control it. How do I want to feel? So today, when you get one of those situations, you're in traffic, you're at the grocery store, you're at work, and your boss says something to you, and you say, but how do I want to feel? Then it doesn't matter. You're in your own little world. Try it. It's powerful. I suggest it. It's one of the most important things. There's a few things if you listen to me every single day. There's a couple things. If you just did the 3 or 4 things I talk about all the time, your life would settle right down. You'd be great. And I'm not saying it's not, because a lot of people are just really perfect. Perfecter than me for sure. So today we're going to talk about action. Action is, and by the way, we always get to the content of the show. Content, I hate that word. But within 2 to 4 minutes into the show, but there's all kinds of cool stuff leading up to that. And once we get into it, I just stay on track and do it. I get in trouble all the time for that. People say, so I'd get to it faster. Well, no, we got stuff to do. And if you're that impatient, go someplace else. This is about the conversation. This is about the nuance. This is about taking the story from beginning to middle to end. This is about enjoying our life and not rushing through every step of the day. So no. So let's talk. Man, Scott, that's not positive. Yeah, it is actually, because sometimes the negativity in life that pushes you down and makes you feel bad gets positive when you say no, right? Scott logic. Just take it for what it's worth.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
All right, so let's talk about action now. We've taken long enough to get here, but I figure you already kind of know this. In fact, it's one of those things, being a Scott Logic kind of guy, I'm like, I don't need to talk about people taking action. Why should I tell people to take action? They know to take action. They've been taking action since they were born. That's my view on this, right? And yet I understand that every single one of us need to take action on something, because some people just want to increase productivity. That's pretty easy. But frankly, in taking action, it always comes down to understanding that action is going to move you forward, and why. Why is it going to move you forward? Like any good story, life is a story, right? All actions have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Anything else is stumbling along, which is easy to do if you're not paying attention in life. Are you stumbling along right now? I do. You can stumble along during the week. Had a good week this week, except for Wednesday. Wednesday, I stumbled along. It happens. Sometimes you stumble along for years. It just happens. So action comes in a couple of different spots. So let me say something first before I get into this. And this is probably there's really one thing that matters here. One thing. And you'll hear me say, Simon Sinek says, it's all about the why. I'm not in disagreement to it being about the why. The why is going to sustain you. The why is going to give you the fulfillment that you need. It's going to be what it takes to get there. But it begins with the what. And that's just, again, Scott Logic kicking in. So I typically don't know why I want to do something. No, I typically don't. I mean, even if it's like, I want to do it because I don't have enough money. Well, so the what is I need more money, right? So the what always arrives first. So that's where I go. I go to the what first, because normally in your brain, something has popped in that's an idea. This is what I'm thinking about. So, why am I thinking about it, right? So that's where it kind of begins there. And then we want to move that into action. So you need all those things. They have to be in place for you to do this. But what leads up prior to that? Clarity. In my view, there are 2 things in your world that will give you everything you want. Forget all the fancy dancy stuff. If you have clarity about what you want and you can take action to get it, life is done. Well, it's not done, but you know what I mean. You're going to get all kinds of cool stuff. That's it. What are the 2 hardest things to do? Figure out what you want and to get yourself to do it. So let's talk about the trajectory of how actions tend to work, and we'll break it down. First off, in taking action, we have what we call access actions, I didn't say that. Somebody made that up. I read it probably 20 years ago and have no idea where it came from. But I use it all the time and I understand it. Access actions determine the steps needed to get your project, your thing moving. So what is that? Baby steps, small steps, little things? If you can move it all in that direction, it's so difficult. We were talking about my kids. My daughter is renovating her house right now. They had some hurricane damage. And right now the house is an absolute disaster. And it was kind of interesting. They didn't want to start renovating because even though it was a real mess from the hurricane, it was going to get worse as soon as they started doing something. And so I said, well, just do something little. Just knock down a wall, do something. Oh, I don't want to start. What? She instead took out a mantle of a fireplace that got a bunch of water underneath it. And suddenly, boom, action began. She did a little itty bitty thing to get her going and just kept doing a little itty bitty thing. So these are your access actions. It's the smallest step. So think about that today. What's the smallest step you can take moving something forward? Because if you do that today and tomorrow, or maybe a couple of times a day, your life is going to change. Simple stuff, I know. What does it take to get you to take that baby step? Don't wait. A lot of people wait around. Well, when I figure out exactly every single step I'm going to take, then I'll take action. No, you won't. You'll be sitting in your rocking chair at 80 years old talking about the stuff you wanted to do. You know that to be true, right? So actions are there. Take the smallest step you can. Secondly, the middle is all about momentum and achievement. Some people call this advancing actions. This is moving toward benchmarks, help you monitor your progress, and you make iterative changes and adjustments along the way. So the key here is this. Getting yourself moving is the hardest thing you'll ever do. You don't want to do it again. You don't want to lose that momentum. So once you get through that inertia and you get yourself moving, then you want to look for benchmarks, little itty bitty things that will allow you to feel like you're doing better. I was out with my motorcycle the other day doing the low speed cone killing motorcycle exercises. Basically means doing figure eights and really crazy stuff that a Harley Davidson motorcycle is not supposed to do, but it does really well. And it's very frustrating and very scary to drop a very expensive and very heavy and very pretty motorcycle on the asphalt pavement. And yet, every time I do it, I get so much better at it. And I'm taking note of that. I'm making a journal. I'm taking pictures of it. Look at me. I just did figure eights 25 times in a row. It's awesome. Little itty bitty benchmarks that monitor your progress. Not the big stuff. Don't get caught up in the big stuff. No, everybody does that. The big stuff is cool. It's fun, but it's a little stuff that shows you're making progress. If you want a better relationship with your kids, tuck them in every night. Read them a bedtime story. With your wife, tell her she's the most beautiful woman in the world and you're so lucky to have her. I stole that line from somebody else, by the way. My wife doesn't believe me. I've been telling her it every single day. She doesn't believe me. She said, why did you start saying that? I said, somebody else said it. I liked it. She goes, well, make up your own. Okay. So we have to be, welcome to the program. I'm glad to have you here today. We'll get there eventually. Access actions. That's where we start. That's the littlest itty bitty thing. So what can you do today that will access the rest of your life? Advancing actions. How do you keep it so you don't have to go back and start again? How do you keep tapping it along so you get what you want? And achievement actions. The steps required to complete your project with no loose ends. How do you finish? How do you know you're done? Some people have a hard time finishing. There are some additional steps after that once you finally achieve it and get done. Because what happens is when you get done at the end is you have to go back and start again, right? So what I tend to do is I tend to build upon it. So when I get achievement, the achievement in and of itself is the propulsion into the next step. A lot of times that would be like getting a degree in something. And the next propulsion is to make a phone call to get a job, right? So you can stack these things and daisy chain them along to get what you want, which is ultimately, if you've been alive long enough and paid attention long enough, you know this is the way it works anyway. Am I talking to you? You know this already. And if you don't, you've just forgotten you've gotten busy. I get it. Raising kids, working, all that kind of stuff. It's wacky. It's just wacky. Take an action. It's not about getting things done so you could get more done. It has to have some purpose to it. It's about getting things done so you can play more and live the life you want to live. And if you want to go back in a couple of days on the show where we talked about keeping the vision, your access actions, advancing actions, and achievement actions are really all about advancing your vision, making them true, making it happen, making your life what you want it to be, writing your legacy every single day. So when you get to the end, whenever that is, you get a legacy. Oh yeah, by the way, inside secret here right now. You better pay attention to all this stuff because, if you happen to, expire from this planet sooner than you expected before you had a chance to write your legacy, guess what? The book's already been written anyway. It's sitting right over there. It's already. Yeah, you can change it starting today if you want to. You can, but because we never know when we're going to expire, yeah, you may look at the pages on the book because it's in progress right this minute, and you don't want it to be a bad sequel, do you? All right, coming up, well, first off, we've got a great weekend. We've got what's going on this weekend. Daytona 500, tune in and watch if the blimp is flying and he points to the south and you can see about 5 miles to the south. You might see my house back over there somewhere. I'll wave to you. We'll come back Monday morning. We're talking about morning rituals. Oh, the coveted morning ritual. I have mine these days. It's fantastic. I have what I'll talk about on Monday, give you some ideas about what to do with your mornings. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday right here on the Daily Boost.